Today on the show, we're going through some of the major updates and fixes in WWE 2K23's patch 1.08. I did some digging around to see what else is going to be fixed in the game. One of the first things is going to be SmackDown. The SmackDown arena in the game has been updated to now give you white ropes instead of the blue ropes. This was a common complaint online for a lot of people. It's a small detail, but for exhibition and I tested it out in universe mode, the arena is now fixed and updated. I'm glad that they did address this. Personally, I wish that with the patch notes, they would give us a lot more detail as to what they specifically fixed. I know that's probably a laundry list, but this is a good fix for the game. Another fix, something that's been in the game, it's been taken out of the game, it's been glitched. Roman Reigns' victory motion with Paul Heyman. It's now back in the game, set as the default. You don't have to change anything. So now when you win and retain your WWE Championship, you will have the Roman Paul Heyman victory motion included. I don't know why this is like such an issue with it getting included, removed, back. This was in last year's game too. And I remember this was hidden last year and then they had to get it all fixed. It's just wild, isn't it? It's just silly. But we do have this motion and I absolutely love it. It does work with alternate Paul Heyman attire. So if you have unlocked those in showcase mode, it will totally work and it's fine. But we'll talk about Roman Reigns' full entrance in just a little bit because there's some things that work and some things that don't. Now, another thing that has been updated, and there's two parts to this. One, we're talking about Sami Zayn's entrance and the commentary. The commentary has now updated Sami Zayn for its post-Bloodline storyline. So the commentary actually talks about it and it's really, really cool. Watch this.
Man free of bloodlines, who still thinks he's pretty oozy. I faced off against Zayn when he began his WWE career a decade ago. We always saw the heart, but even I did not know he would rise to this level.
Well, Corey, whether he was cheered or booed, Zayn has consistently fought the odds, defied his critics, and now he's competing at his highest level.
No more bloodline. Sami Zayn is now fighting for himself.
Now, the other thing I noticed with Sami Zayn, I put him in a match against Jey Uso because I just wanted to see what would happen. And this may be an update, it may not, but I really liked how the commentary flowed during this segment at the beginning of the match. It felt like Corey Graves and Michael Cole were talking to each other a little bit more instead of just cutting the commentary lines. Watch this one.
Recently, Jey Uso has come to the ring with a renewed sense of purpose. He's driven by a completely different set of selfish goals than he was before.
I think that's easy to understand. Jey Uso has a seat at the table now, and he has no intention of losing it. So no matter what Jey Uso has to do, no matter who he has to take down, he's going to do it. Because being inside that circle of influence is just too important to him.
You're not wrong, but I do think you could go so far as to say that power has been a corrupting influence on Jey.
And unfortunately for all of us, he's in there tonight with Sami Zayn. This guy is just a parasite and a cheat. He never met a shortcut he didn't want to take, loudly.
You are a heathen and a buffoon, Saxton. You call Zayn a parasite, I call him a strategist. Sami is always looking for the best path to victory, and he's pretty good at finding it. Does he cut a corner or two? Maybe, but you know what they say about ends and means.
The next updated fix and find is going to be something you've probably seen circulating online already, but it's going to be the WCW Women's Championship. When you play as WCW, the women's title was the WWF Women's Championship with the WCW name on it. Now they've given you the proper WCW Women's Championship to use in My GM mode, but also in exhibition and everywhere else. And they've given you the proper title. I'm really glad they did this and when they changed it and fixed it in My GM mode too. Now let's talk about moves, because there are some moves that have been updated, fixed. There's a lot that's out there and we'll probably do another video talking more in depth about some of the move add-ons and updates. The first one is going to be the buckshot lariat, or the slingshot lariat in the game. Now if you want Logan Paul to use the buckshot lariat, it's not set as default. You need to go in to create a move set, go to Logan Paul, and change one of his finishers to this move. If you search under the new tab, you will locate it as slingshot lariat. This is really awesome to pull off, and it can actually mess up too, which is even more hilarious. So when you do pull off this move, it looks great. I'm glad that they put this in the game. And if you got a custom Hangman Adam Page, throw it in there too. The other custom move that's been updated, and once again, we need to add this ourselves, is going to be Roman Reigns' drive-by move. Go back into create a move set, and with standing corner moves, you'll see all of Roman's, his shoulder tackles, his corner, trapped punches. Change one of the grapple slots to the drive-by drop kick. And now in a match, do the heavy grapple and whichever one you set it up for in the slot, Roman Reigns will now do his drive-by dropkick, and it looks great. This was brought in by modders previously, and it was a giant workaround. Now it is properly in the game, but you do have to set it yourself in the moveset. Now let's talk about universe mode for a minute. There's a couple of things in here that have been fixed. Some things are not working that great. Now, one of the cool things that has been added to the game is under shows, and you can now use the Raw 2002 arena. Raw 2002 is unlocked in the My Rise story. It's under the Legacy campaign, and it's fairly early on. Like, if you play it for 45 minutes to an hour, you can unlock this and the live arena as well. The live arena does not work. I tried it. You cannot use it in universe mode, but they have added in Raw 2002 if you want to be able to use that going forward. Now, one of the things I mentioned on a previous video was that managers with universe mode, it seems to be working again. So if you're in a trios like Damage Control, the Brawling Brutes, Imperium, their tag partners, their managers, they show up in universe mode now on your regular scheduled calendars, which is great, but some of it is still not working quite right. I set up a brand new universe and I simulated to a SmackDown show where it auto-populated to have Roman and managers Paul Heyman and Jimmy and Jey Uso against Brock. So I didn't touch any of this. I didn't add any managers. It did this on its own. Now, when I went to play the match, we got the full Bloodline entrance. So you can't create the Bloodline Trios entrance or 4-person in Create an Entrance, or in universe mode, you cannot go in and manually create it. But if you add everybody into the match as managers with Paul Heyman as #1 manager, it will work. However, when I went in and just did this match, you can see the AI set it all up. Roman Reigns' Tron, the Bloodline Tron, it's not there. We just have SmackDown. So it's glitched out. It's gonna require another patch, I think, to be able to correct this. The good news is that the Bloodline entrance is there in universe mode. The AI can set it up on its own, but it's still a little messed up. This is the same thing when you're going to do Roman Reigns with just Paul Heyman as a manager in regular exhibition. When I did this, I got the Bloodline Titantrons instead of Roman Reigns' Titantron. We still have the Roman Reigns Paul Heyman motion, which is great, but now it has the Bloodline Titantrons for some reason. And this seems to glitch back and forth because when I first tested this out, I was getting Roman's regular entrance, but now it's giving me Bloodline. Despite the Bloodline pieces being still messed up in this, I will say that the big win here is having the managers properly assigned and working in universe mode where we don't have to manually go in and modify things. The only time I did notice this was not working correctly was Karrion Kross in my universe mode. Scarlett was not showing up as his manager and he was in a rivalry with somebody. When I deleted the rivalry, the next week, Scarlett showed up. So there's still some glitches when it comes to managers being assigned during the matches, but it is definitely improved. Another change and update that we have here is going to be some of the Titantrons have been updated. For example, the one we have here is for Cora Jade. Her entrance is still the same motion, but her Titantrons have been updated to her face Titantrons. It seems like they removed the old Trons, which is a bummer, but it is nice to see that 2K's going in there and they're trying to update stuff as we go to keep it going, to give the game some more longevity as we go through this year. And next up is My GM. There are some improvements, stability, and fixes when it comes to My GM mode right now after this patch. And one of the big things is going to be multi-man title matches are now fixed in the game. So setting up a fatal 4-way match, even if you have 2 champions, you can toggle between which belt you want to put on the line, and we can do triple threat or fatal 4-way title matches now, and it works. And it's great because when you set up the match for the title, you are still getting the graphic, and it is going to be a respective triple threat fatal 4-way. This is great. This is a big improvement I wanted to see with My GM because I do enjoy the mode, but something as simple as that, it can take away from it. Also, you're just not going to get the same good stats and everything out of your match results when you couldn't put the titles on the line for half your pay-per-views. So being able to use more superstars in the matches, triple threat, fatal 4-way matches, it's a big win. The other big fix that is in the game now is being able to toggle title motions and regular motions and being able to swap them out. And if you want to know about that and all of the bug fixes and updates from patch 1.08, click right here because this is going to give you the full breakdown of everything you need to know. See ya.